All right. So, yeah, Thomas, again, I see you're in the van.
I am. Yep, currently in the van.
So I know I asked you this before we were recording, but and I'll give everybody a little bit of an intro here in a second, which I'm gonna get from you and as well. But where are you physically located other than your van?
So currently I'm parked outside of the Lake Lure Welcome Center in North Carolina. And they've got strong enough Wi-Fi that I can get service in the van. So
That's awesome. Do they have you been there all night?
no, they actually don't allow parking overnight here. So I had to go to sort of a vacant lot around the corner and then come back in the morning.
Nice. So, okay,
Yep,
first of
kind of a
all,
constant struggle.
hey, I look forward to hearing about that. So I'm here. I'm here with Thomas Chapman. Thomas is part of the DIY tribe, and I don't remember if you. I think you might have just sent me an email after we did a podcast, and I'm sure I don't know where or how. Sometimes things just kind of roll off the lips, and Daniel has to scold me. But I was
Some
talking
tangent
about.
somewhere led to, yeah.
And so, Thomas, I was talking about van life and talking about, these people that, hey, we're going out and, basically starting a TikTok account and, this, that, and the other. And so he sent me it. And I said, did I make an appeal? Did I say, hey, if you do this or if this is something you do you reach out? Did I do that?
Yeah. You said get in touch if we want to hear from you.
So Thomas was gracious enough to reach out and said, "Hey, I'm the van life guy. I'm doing it right now." So I was like, "Boom, let's jump on a call." So I mean, give me your background. Give me how you got into this. Who are you? The whole nine yards.
Absolutely, yeah. So I grew up in Florida, um, and the van has sort of been like a family project. My dad got it from a family friend. Um, my dad, my brother, and myself kind of built it together, turned it from empty utility van into a full-on camper with hardwood interior, closet space, bed, electricity, everything.
I want to get a tour
And
later,
we've kind
if
of
that's
been.
possible.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's not too hard. You can from one spot you can see the whole thing. But so we've kind of been sharing it around, passing it back and forth. My brother was in it last summer. I had it the summer before that. My dad had it in between there. So we kind of do like a lot of vehicle swapping. Um, but yeah, so I've been in Colorado for the last couple of years, teaching skiing for folks with disabilities.
Hmm.
And then I came back to the Southeast to work as a rock climbing guide. And especially right here, the van is super helpful for that because it allows me to be really mobile. We run trips like all over North Carolina and into further reaches of the Southeast. So being able to kind of go wherever I need to go, take my little studio apartment with me is really helpful for that.
So let's break this down. Where in Florida are you originally from?
I grew up in Tampa.
Okay. Well, I'm familiar with the area. For a
Yep.
couple of years, my wife and I lived in Bradenton,
Okay. Yep.
so just south of there. So you are how old, Thomas?
I'm 24.
Okay. So how long did you just start this year? Have you done it for the last how long have you been on the road per se with your van?
Yeah. So it's been, I'd say, like 3 months now consistently. And then it's been like on and off for the last 2 or 3 years or so.
So you said this is I'm finding this very fascinating. So you said you teach skiing to folks with disabilities. Where exactly in Colorado do you do that?
So I've been the last 2 years, I've been doing that at Telluride with the Telluride Adaptive Sports Program. There's adaptive sports programs at pretty much every ski resort now in the country. But that's where I've been doing it specifically.
How'd you get connected with them?
I graduated college and went into outdoor education. So I studied forestry and then was, just sort of teaching that. But I was just looking for a way to spend a winter in the mountains. And I didn't want to, just operate the ski lifts. I didn't think I wanted to just do regular ski instructing. And so someone just said, you should look at adaptive sports. And got connected with that program in Telluride and they convinced me to move down there, having never seen the place, and got me all kind of training specific to that discipline. And then, yeah, it's been a really fantastic, really rewarding work with them.
So you did that this past winter, right?
I did. Yep. Through the midst of COVID, we were operating.
And is that your first full winter, or have you done things in the past with them?
That was my second season.
Yep. Okay. So tell me so you did that. So let's just take this current season. So this previous winter, or during COVID or whatever, you were out at Telluride living in the van, or did they give you places to stay, or what were you doing for living?
No, I ended up staying with a big group of friends. So we rented a big house. The van, interestingly, it's got 300,000 miles on it, and it's a diesel, and so it really doesn't like to start up when it's cold. If it's less than about 35 degrees or so, I have to get a jump start. So the van's not really doable in the winter. There are ways, with other vans newer, you can get heating setups, and people will do the winter in it for the ski season. But I'm kind of a weakling, and so I rented a house with some friends.
All right. So then you got in the van about March of this year. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yep. And picked it up from the parents.
Kind of as the ski season was ending.
Picked it up from the family in Tampa, and
no, my brother and I actually crossed paths out west. So he was in it, and he was coming from Wyoming he was doing a wilderness medicine course up there. So he came down. I crossed paths with him, and then I brought it back out east.
Big gypsies. It's awesome. So okay, so you get
We're
in the
all
van,
over the place.
You get in the van and you go out east, and now you're a rock climbing guide. So how did that transpire? I'll get to the van. I want to know all about the van. I'm going to ask you about van life, but I'm very fascinated with you right now.
Yeah, no, the whole seasonal work thing is really interesting in itself. So I went to college in Chattanooga, or near Chattanooga, Tennessee, Sewanee University, the University of the South. And in between college, so during the summers, I was coming back out to North Carolina and working as a rock climbing, mountain biking, backpacking guide for a summer camp. And so that's sort of how I got started doing this whole outdoor recreation thing in the first place. And so while I was there, they also helped pay for me to get some certifications through the American Mountain Guides Association that allow me to lead these kind of trips on my own, and yes, to guide. And so through that, I'd gotten connected with this sort of independent company called Fox Mountain Guides. And then when I was in Colorado, I kind of thought, it'd be nice to come back to the Southeast. I just love this area. And so got in touch with Fox Mountain Guides. They had a position for me, and came back. And now I'm, working full time for them. So,
and they're located exactly where? Or do they do things all over the place? And then
our office is in Brevard, North Carolina. And so most of our trips we run there in the Pisgah National Forest, but we are permitted to run trips in a lot of different places around North Carolina, Western North Carolina specifically, up into the Red River Gorge in Kentucky. We do some stuff in Virginia, South Carolina, kind of all over.
Yeah. I have some climbing friends. They tell me, I've never gone climbing, don't really have an interest. I'm petrified of heights, but they tell me that the gorge is like some of the best in the world. Is that true?
Yep, it is. I mean, the Red River Gorge it's world class. It's people come from all over to climb there. It's a pretty incredible place for that specific discipline of climbing.
Okay, so let's shift gears. So one of the things you said to me in the email, you were like, it's not as luxurious as it sounds. And maybe I'm making this up.
Oh, yeah.
You alluded to even going to the bathroom in a bucket or something. I don't know. So what did you mean by that? It's not as luxurious as it sounds.
Yeah. So, social media has a great way of sort of glamorizing everything, making everything seem perfect and, fantastical. And van life is not one of those things. Maybe it is if you shell out $100,000 to build the perfect, uh, apartment on wheels. But in reality, if you're doing it affordably, it's not that way. You're not parking on beach sides in the woods every single night, whatever. For the most part, people are parking in parking lots, Walmart lots, places like this. So you're not necessarily staying in the most beautiful areas if you're working, right? If you're just retired and you're, in actual campgrounds all the time, that's a different story. But yeah, so I'm, typically parking in parking areas so that I can go to work the next day. Trying to park somewhere that you're close to some sort of 24-hour bathroom is nice.
Yeah, how does that
emergencies
work?
do come up.
I mean, how does
Yeah,
you're doing stuff outdoors, you're getting sweaty, you're getting gross. Where are you showering?
Yep. So I've got a solar shower that I can pop out, heat up in the sun, pump it up, and rinse off.
Not
Luckily,
in the van.
I do.
That's outside the van.
Not in the van. No, outside the van.
So you're showering in a parking lot. Somebody's rolling up possibly, and
so I can, if I'm staying there for the night, I can shower there. And then at the rock climbing gym that I go to, I can also shower there.
Okay. So they know
Yeah.
that, hey, this kid's coming in and showering, and it's okay. He's not just homeless on the street. They're okay with that.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people that do it, they'll find a 24-hour gym membership. And so that allows them, to use the restroom 24/7, get a shower. Some of them will offer laundry, those kind of things. So that's a big advantage for 24-hour gym memberships. But I specifically am going to a rock climbing gym, so the hours are not as perfect. People will, park in a Walmart lot for the advantage of being able to use the restroom when they need it. But yeah, so what I was saying is, emergencies do come up where you don't have a true facility available. And without getting too graphic, we've got some buckets with an airtight lid and then a mixture of sawdust and cat litter. That's
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, I have kids, man.
Yep.
We've done some crazy stuff on the road, and that's just like driving
I'm
down
sure.
to Florida on vacation. I mean, oh my goodness. So I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're still single, Thomas, right?
I am not.
What?
Nope. I've got a significant other. We met in Colorado. She is actually heading to medical school soon. So she's the smart one. I just climb rocks.
Hey, and if she loves you for the guy you are right now, that's wonderful. I mean, that's good. So, okay. So basically, you're living in a van. Obviously you have your expenses include your fuel. So that's obviously diesel's not cheap. You have, food that you've got, et cetera. But I mean, your expenses are almost non-existent, right?
Exactly. And, I'm extremely privileged. My parents set me up really well. I was able to go to college and come out without student debt. So I'm incredibly thankful for them and my grandparents for, giving me that. And it's really because of that I'm able to do this. Living in the ski towns, even there, just doing the job at the ski resort, it's enough to pay for my rent and food and those expenses, but it wasn't enough to be able to, put money aside. And so in addition to teaching skiing, I was picking up a second job, at a restaurant or at a supermarket, just in the evenings to, make enough that I was able to invest that and kind of put it away.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So you're still practicing. It's not like you're being completely free spirit. I mean, this perception, I would say, of van life is like free spirited, don't care about anything, just take it, whatever. And it seems like you're still you're still being prudent with your savings and your investing goals and sort of living the DIY money lifestyle still.
Definitely. There's a lot of folks that I think, go into this either van life or, the other side of it is sort of that like ski bum lifestyle where, they work just enough to get by so that they're able to go on these wild and crazy adventures. But they don't have an eye for the future or saving. It's, work for what they need and that's about it. And so it does take sort of a shift to be able to, do those wild and crazy adventures, but then still cut down the expenses enough to be able to invest and plan for the future and do the whole DIY money thing.
So give me a typical day. Give me an average day. What an average day looks like from the time you wake up to the time you're done.
Yeah. So typically, waking up around 7 or so, get up, make some coffee, cook some breakfast on my propane stove. Then, get ready for the day, get all my equipment, my ropes, all my sort of equipment I'm going to need for rock climbing packed up in my bag. Then I get all of my clients' equipment ready. So I've got, harnesses, helmets, shoes, all the rock climbing specific stuff for them, getting that ready. Usually meet my clients around 9 or so in the morning. And then, we'll like fill out waivers, do all that fun stuff, try out shoes, drive out to the rock climbing destination. We'll hike out, about a mile or so to get to wherever we're going to climb.
Let me stop you real quick. So you roll up to a client in your van and you roll out of your apartment. So is there been any weird, like, hey, you're about to take this person up a side of a rock or a mountain and this guy's living in his van pulling equipment out of the back? I mean, was there anything weird going on there?
No, more than anything, people are intrigued. People are impressed. There's definitely the advantage that we built this van to look very nice. It's got this beautiful hardwood looking interior. It does not just look like, some utility van with a cot in the corner. So I think the almost professional look to it does help with that.
So you roll out and you're a good looking guy. I mean, you come out, you got the look like, hey, I know what I'm doing, and you come out of this van that's dressed, that's kind of done up nicely and it's kind of a whole motif thing, right? I mean, they're like, wow, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, people are usually pretty psyched. More often than not, people want to see the van. Because everyone, again, sees it on social media. It's all over, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So people are always curious to look at it and see kind of what it's actually like.
So, okay, waivers, doing the climbing, you have lunch. Do you bring them lunch or do they have lunch? You tell them to pack a lunch? What's the deal there?
Yep, everyone packs their own food. We're either out there we run half day trips, which go until about 1 o'clock, or we run full day trips that go until 5. And so by then we're, getting back to the trailhead, getting back to our vehicles, saying our goodbyes. Then shifting into the evening, usually either dinner where I'm at, or I'll drive to the climbing gym. Then there I can get on the Wi-Fi, get a shower, get my workout in for the day. Or I'll drive to the office and there I can get on the Wi-Fi, shower, same thing. I have to do, post trip reports, log everything. I actually end up spending a lot of time on the computer, just, emailing with clients, talking with them ahead of time, trips that are upcoming, sort of staying in touch that way. So I'm not able to be off the grid the way that, the social media makes it seem like you're able to do.
Now you're contracted with an organization, so this isn't your business, but it sounds like you're basically running your own business.
Almost, yeah. I've kind of made that connection before where, we have one woman who owns the company, runs sort of our office management, and she, connects us with the clients, and she does all of the, office management stuff. But then once we're connected with the clients, it's on us to sort of set up our meeting time, destination, plan out the day, and everything like that. So we're almost like independent contractors, but we are full employees.
So do you collect the payment, or do they pay her?
They'll pay her. Yep. Sometimes I collect payment if they're paying cash, but it still ends up going to the office. She manages that, and then we get our cut at the end of the 2-week pay period.
Got it. And then they tip. I would imagine they tip you. Do they tip you on site, or do you tell them to tip you on site, or tip you through the payment?
They do. Yep. We actually, through our system, they actually can't add a tip through credit card, so it ends up being cash, Venmo, PayPal, personal check, on site.
Yeah. So you're enterprising. I mean, I want to hear about the remainder of the day, but so you're enterprising, and I'm sure your wheels are turning, going, okay, what's my, where does this develop into a business for me down the road?
Absolutely. And I mean, there's, the way that I'm having to interact with clients, I'm building my own client base in that way, of folks that will hopefully, if they're satisfied with, the day, they'll return and book me again. But yeah, there's a lot of folks who will start out guiding and then end up moving up to running their own guide company, finding an area in the country where there's kind of a hole in the marketplace and starting up their own organization.
Yeah. Well, I told you I've never climbed because I'm scared of heights. So maybe we do some bouldering, but I'm coming down. I'm going to come, I'm going to book you. We're going to go out.
Oh yeah.
I'll bring a couple of my kids. That'll be
Let's
fun.
do it.
That would be a blast.
Definitely.
All right. So you go to the gym or go to the office, you get your workout in. I'm assuming, it's probably 5, 6, whatever now. And you're starting to get hungry again. So then what does dinner look like?
Temptation, right? Like, if you've been on a road trip, it's so tempting to just pull over to the fast food, get the easy thing. And so it's always a constant temptation to just, run into the supermarket, grab something quick. But so I'm always making myself cook dinner, pulling out my 2-burner stove. I've got an electric sort of fridge cooler set up, getting that out, cooking myself some dinner, hanging out, usually crawling to bed, watch a little bit of Netflix or something, and get to sleep early enough that I can, be up the next day. And depending on where I'll be working the next day, after dinner might be my time to drive to that new location. So a lot of the times I'll be going, an hour or even 2 hours from one day to the next driving. And so that'll be, cook dinner and then get behind the wheel, drive wherever I'm going to meet my clients for the next day.
How often, how many days a week are you doing this regularly? Obviously I got you today. You're not going out this morning, but how many days are you doing this?
Yeah, I am going out this afternoon. Right now we're in sort of our peak season. So summer is really popular time for folks to come up and visit Western North Carolina, get up in the mountains. And so pretty much every day that I want to work, I can get booked. If I wanted to work 7 days a week, full on, I probably could. Right now I'm working about 5.5 days a week.
So what does a weekend look like? Same thing, but no work, and you're just kind of, relaxing some time to yourself, or what's a weekend? Or you go and drive to the girlfriend?
I'll either, get some work done, kind of have the day to relax, or I'll drive up and go rock climbing for fun. That's the other part of it, is that I love what I do enough that on my off days I'll still go out and do it with friends. That's
great. So give me the crazy. I'm certain some crazy stuff has happened. So what's a crazy story? Give me something that's happened to you while in this van life. Sure.
So, the first thing that comes to mind is
finding place.
Pretty frequent. Not frequently if you're careful, but like just the other night, I move. It happens where you park somewhere that there's no signs that say no overnight parking, but there's rules that just they know about that they don't tell you. And so I'll get woken up at 2 a.m. occasionally and get asked to move. So that's one of the biggest hurdles is, finding the right places where you're not going to be bothered, where you're not going to, have, folks outside walking around being loud. You're not next to the highway, trying to find quiet places that are still legal.
Yeah. I mean, so and I think your internet, I think as the time has gone on, maybe other people are hopping on the internet, but where you're at, so it's getting a little grainy and slow, but we're catching everything that you're saying. But you're towing the line. I mean,
Okay.
you're doing basically what a lot of people who are homeless are doing. So I would imagine you've crossed paths with a lot of people that are not doing this by choice. Well, maybe it is their choice. I don't know, but
Definitely.
I mean, that's got to be pretty interesting at times.
Yeah, I've talked a lot with folks about how van life is really glamorized and homelessness is still really stigmatized, and they're two sides of the same coin. It's in van life. You've got to understand that homelessness that's not by choice. People that are living out of their Toyota Corolla are having the same struggles. And yeah, so I think that's a big problem in the social media realms these days.
Yeah. Well, what's do you have I know you said like I don't know if you're even on social media, and I know that's not your thing, but is there a way people can keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, so I am actually on Instagram at tom.chap. And that's, I'm always posting the rock climbing stuff we're doing, reaching out to folks that way. If anyone's interested in coming rock climbing in the Southeast, you can go to foxmountainguides.com and try and, book a day with me. Let's get out rock climbing, whether it's, first time doing it or if you've been doing it for years, you want to learn specific skills. We can always tailor days to people's individual goals. That's the cool
awesome
part about it.
Well, Thomas, man, I really appreciate you carving out 30 minutes and so just to touch base with us. I don't know if we'll be able to see it again. The picture's kind of gotten really grainy, but send me some photos so I can put them up of your, or maybe a little video clip or something of your van, so we can kind of understand where you're at. So man, I wish you the best of luck.
Definitely.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. I know you won't be. Stay in touch. When's the ring? You got the ring fund going or what?
It's on the way. Something like that.
Okay. All right. So when she watches this, she's going to be like, okay. Good. Where's she going to medical school?
Case Western Reserve in Cleveland, Ohio.
All right. Not much climbing around there.
Nope, that was part of the draw for the Southeast. Is it's at least a little bit closer. We've been doing the long distance thing for a little while, but yeah, seasonal work, has the adaptability of being able to, carve out a season to go somewhere else. So.
And do you anticipate you'll do the ski thing this winter again?
I'm honestly not too sure. The housing situation has gotten really desperate in most ski towns, and Telluride in particular is such a small town. It's becoming really impossible to find housing. Van life is, one potential answer to that. But again, with the whole legality thing, towns like that are kind of cracking down on people living out of vehicles. They don't want it.
Yeah.
And so it's just becoming less and less feasible to do it affordably, at least.
That's going to be very interesting. I don't want to go down a macro rabbit hole, but that's going to be fascinating as these housing prices start to price out people that are actually doing the work for people to come and enjoy those.
Yep,
those
towns, they're already, in the summers, I'm already seeing on some of the Facebook groups I'm a part of, restaurants are having to close down for certain days for staffing shortages because people just can't find housing.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Well, Thomas, man, we wish you the best. I really appreciate you carving out 30 minutes at tom.chap on Instagram. We'll put that up, man. And thanks for reaching out, and good luck to you, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Thanks for the podcast. Keep it going.
All right, will do. See you, Thomas. Take care, buddy.
Have a good one. Bye.